Hey everybody, welcome back to the Centaur Fragrance channel. My name is Benjamin, and y'all know I review all those great smelly things. If you like my content, if you want to help me out, y'all know what to do down below. So let's talk about this big topic, this big drama that is unfolding and just beginning in the fragrance community. It is all about the Mugler purchase, the Mugler takeover, I guess you could say, by, I believe it's Lancome. This was a rumor a couple months ago. You probably heard hearsay about reformulations. Maybe buy your favorite bottles if you like Mugler fragrances. If you do like them, buy the ones you like. So, they might be tampered with, they might be diluted, they might be reformulated, and they might completely just, discontinue your favorite fragrance if it's not a particularly popular Mugler fragrance. If you like pure malt, if you like any of those, other fragrances that aren't too popular, from the Mugler line, they might just be discontinued. So, if you're familiar with Mila LeBlanc's channel, she just put the word out. She's really into Mugler. She shares a lot of Mugler fragrances. I don't know what kind of connections she has, but she seems to be, probably living in a bigger city, has access to, the bigger malls where they sell lots of product. Product comes in and out, so they have lots of access to, the new batches of a formulation if that ever does happen. I live in more of a rural place. That might not affect me for 6 months or a year out. Mugler isn't particularly popular. There are only a few of the most popular, Mugler fragrances: the Pure Malt, the Angelman, the Pure Havant, those kinds of fragrances, and I just don't know for certain, from firsthand experience, if this is true. If you live in a bigger city, if you have access to newer batches of Mugler, let us know in the comments section below. Is this happening? Are there reformulations? Are the fragrances performing less? Some people are claiming that the performance is about half of what it used to be. They're sounding the alarm, and they're saying that performance is quite bad, and bad things are happening. People are being cheated out of good fragrances because, people still trust the Mugler name. A lot of people don't know that they've been bought out. Things like this happen in the corporate world, and sometimes the news really doesn't cover it, and people really don't hear about these things. Just like if you're into outdoors, like I am, when Bass Pro Shops bought out Cabela's, very few people even heard about it, and it was a multi-billion-dollar acquisition. So let's talk about, I have some first impressions to talk about, but again, if you have any thoughts, if you have anything to say, do you have any gut reactions? Because my gut reaction is because of what L'Oreal, I believe it is, has done, or Lancome has done in the past. I think that this is going to happen sooner or later. And if you do like Mugler fragrances, if you really do have some that you love, I'm not telling you that you should rush out and buy these fragrances. But if you want to play on the safe side, if you do have some favorite Mugler fragrances, maybe you like Angel Muse, which I think is one of the best feminine fragrances for the money on the discounted market. A great fragrance with great performance for you ladies out there. I do respect Pure Malt. I think that Pure Havant is quite a good fragrance for the money. Y'all know that I kind of lean towards Pure Tonka. I really like the fragrance, and I'm really kind of debating if I should buy a backup bottle. Anyways, let's jump to, Sensual Obsessions. I was sent 4 of their, smaller bottles of their fragrances out of the generosity of his heart. Of course, he wants to get his name out there. This is a brand that brings you, of course, more clone-like fragrances, more affordable, I guess you could say cheaper adaptations of fragrances that originally cost you hundreds, and you can get a full-size bottle from him for like $40 or so for most of his fragrances. Now, this is really exciting, and I'm very grateful. And it's always a great thing when, as a reviewer, somebody really wants your opinion, somebody trusts you, and somebody wants you to put the word out on their fragrance. So, this first one is Ombre Leather. Y'all know that this one isn't too a overtly expensive fragrance. It might be hard for you to get where you live. If you live in a more rural place like I do, perhaps ombre leather is a little bit hard to get your hands on. The prices for a while you seem to be pretty low. They were being discounted. I think they might have tightened up the supply. It's pretty hard to find a really good price, the $80-$90 range anymore, on a bottle of ombre leather. It's usually about $150. So, can this save you money? Is this worth the money? This is just my first impression, guys, but let me spray. It's ready to go. To my nose, this it has the ombre. It definitely smells like ombre leather. The ombre leather has a little bit more of that white leather going on. It's a little bit smooth. This is still smooth, but to me, it's almost coming off like a little bit leathery, with some spice, some interesting, like a spiced leather almost. It's very clean. I don't think it's going to have the same body of the original. But this is certainly still a very inoffensive, simple leather fragrance that's clean, professional, has that seductiveness of Tom Ford. So is it a good job? Just off first impressions, it's pretty good. For $40 for a full-size bottle compared to 150, if you just want to smell, unique and different, not hurt you're not really picky with your fragrances. This does smell quite nice. The leather here does smell a little bit spiced and almost a little bit herbal in a way. So it is a little bit different, but it still does a pretty good job of copying the original. I'll have to see how that changes on skin. I'll have to do full-length reviews, of course, of all these fragrances. The next one is single malt. I think that this is from Killian. I haven't smelled a lot of Killian, honestly, and I really do want to smell a lot of them in the future. Of course, I don't live anywhere near a place that distributes or sells Killian. Okay, this is a really interesting, almost plum-like a dark black, almost like, oh my goodness, it's like almost like a cherry or a raspberry, but it's interesting, and it definitely does have a lot of booziness, but it's giving me a cherry cola vibe. Honestly, have you ever smelled cherry cola? It smells it has a little bit of a darker edge to it, but this definitely does smell like cherry Coca-Cola. Interesting stuff. Was not expecting this. I did not imagine that this was going to happen. I thought that this was just a whiskey fragrance, and I heard, that it might have some plum-like quality. And if y'all are familiar with malt, it's kind of like a powder, kind of like a vanilla that you would add to a concrete or like a really high-quality ice cream sundae. So really interesting fragrance, but there's no denying that there's a root beer, cherry Coca-Cola vibe to this. Interesting to see what kind of reactions I get out of people. Is there going to be a compliment factor? Do they like the guy smelling like the cherry Coca-Cola? We'll have to see. That's really fun. Interesting stuff there. And I don't know if he's improved his formulations, but all of these are performing and smelling even better than some of the things I've smelled in the past. Of course, Andy Warhol's fantastic. Lime in the Sky is definitely recommended, and I certainly do respect, and I would mention Tuxedo. But these ones all smell better blended. Better they smell like they all have better performance to them. The next one is Baccarat Rouge, or Baccarat 540. Y'all know that I'm not the biggest fan. I do get that medicinal vibe to it. I do get that latex vibe like a lot of people are saying. I do think that the fragrance leans a little bit on the feminine side. I'm going to spray it on my skin, and I'm going to test it for y'all. I don't hate the fragrance. It's just not my personal fragrance, my preference. And I do get this like cotton candy, medicinal, almost like cherry, strawberry, cough syrup vibe. This one, it doesn't have the medicinal vibe as much. There's a little bit of the tone of it, but it's more well blended, I dare say. The sweetness doesn't have this almost chemical like smell to it, and it has a little bit of weight to it. To me, for Baccarat Rouge 540, it's a little bit syrupy, and of course there's a lot of ambergris to that fragrance. The sweetness to this one almost smells like strawberry like. Interesting stuff, guys. Interesting fragrance. I think that this is going to be a little bit more feminine. I thought Baccarat Rouge 540 was unisex. I mean, if you're comfortable, if you like it, kudos to you. Rock and wear and love whatever you want. Wear what you love. I always say that. I feel like this one is still kind of unisex, but a tiny bit more feminine. Maybe just like 55 feminine, 45 masculine, maybe something like that. It's nice though. I think that ladies would certainly like this fragrance. I do think it's a little bit of a younger fragrance. Um, a younger lady, perhaps a lady in her teens, but got a good fragrance. I mean, a good interpretation. That's kind of what you want from a more of a clone house. They put a twist on the fragrance, they adapt it, they change it. It's much more playful. It's more. I would say it's even more versatile. Baccarat Rouge 540 has kind of a really upscale feel, and it's really strong. I mean, that has good performance, but I feel like it's kind of easy to overspray with Baccarat Rouge 540 because more of the smell is really with the ambergris and the dry down. With the performance wise. So you might not notice how much you're spraying on it. This one seems to be lifted up just a little bit. Anyways, let's jump to the next one. I actually have been wanting to try this for a long time. I actually had this from his collection. This is one of the ones I really wanted to get my hands on. This is none other than Vodka on the Rocks. What you're getting out of this fragrance is supposed to be a very clean vodka-like fragrance, very gin-like, interesting, perhaps almost like mineral accords. I wouldn't say metallic. And I dare say that this is a very good fragrance. This is very mass appealing, easy to wear for a guy, kind of aquatic, but this one definitely has a little bit of character. It has an interesting, transparent booziness, of course, with the vodka. And I'm not just saying this. I wanted this fragrance, and I had been looking forward to it. And I don't know if it's just colored or if the darker juice says something, but this is a pleasant surprise. It smells a little bit more universal and mainstream than I was expecting, honestly. I didn't expect for it to have. I don't know what kind of blend he has. I don't know if he mixed in a little bit of Dior Sauvage or something, but I wasn't expecting it for it to have that kind of quality. But it still smells great. The opening dries down. This is more of a personal scent, more of a fragrance that speaks with you, and I really do like sometimes when a fragrance can do that. So if y'all are looking for beast mode, this is certainly not the kind of fragrance, but it's going to be there. It's going to speak with you. There's interesting, almost sourness. If you like those fragrances that play on the edge of sour with the mineral accords, with the interesting booziness, y'all really might want to try this out. And if y'all know the prices of Killian's, Killian's can be very, very expensive. Killian's can be very pricey. Y'all should just go and look at some of those prices. So, am I happy about this? I'm very happy about Vodka on the Rocks. I'll be testing it. I'll get my thoughts to you more about these in the future. But really, again, thank you. I believe it's Keith. You're a great guy. Thank you so much. I love chatting with you. And I also enjoy, reviewing your fragrances for you. Thank you so much. And guys, give them a chance if this brand interests you, if you're into this kind of thing. Again, clones, adaptations, these kinds of things are not for everybody. But if you want a original take, definitely check out Lime in the Sky. It's one of the best freshies, one of the best universal, mass appealing, fresh fragrances that I've tried in a very long time. And it certainly is worth the money. So Vodka on the Rocks is doing its magic here. So thank y'all so much for being here today. Again, I kind of wanted to blend these two topics together. I wanted to see if, a double take, a twin combo is a good idea on my channel. I'm always trying to do something creative, y'all know. So thank y'all so much for being here. Let me know if this is something you like. Let me know about the Mugler drama. Have you heard any news? What do you think? Down below. Let me know. Do you like Sensual Obsessions? Have you tried any of them? And I'll see y'all next time. This has been the Scentatar Fragrance Channel. Y'all know, doing my very best to help bring you great fragrances, save you money, and all those great things. So, again, help me down below. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video. And I'll see y'all next time. Wear what you love, rock what you love, and I'll see you. Bye.